I've been doing videos on eugenics, or my interpretation of eugenics, as what I call post-racial eugenics. I'd also pretty much say it's post-psychometric eugenics also. One of the things that has plagued eugenics, honestly, is psychiatry and its mix-up with psychiatry. Ironically, psychiatry, which is not at all a legitimate science, has somehow moved into the modern era more or less unscathed and actually with more credibility than it had previously. Now, the reason I say that eugenics is a true science, whereas psychiatry is a false science, is simply that eugenics is the use of animal breeding techniques that go back thousands of years to breed better and stronger humans, okay? Whereas psychiatry is heavily influenced by things like Freudian psychoanalysis, Jungian psychoanalysis, Adlerian psychoanalysis, and all this stuff that really does not exist outside of the subjectivity of the individual saying that it exists, meaning the psychiatrist or psychologist. The reason that this is important to understand is that a lot of people, like for example, American Renaissance is a big believer in psychometrics, particularly the IQ tests, which, as I said, I am a big believer in IQ as well, but not to the same extent. Whereas any animal breeder knows that you can breed for character traits in animals as you can in people. My view of eugenics, though, is more or less, it's funny because it goes complete atavistic in the one way, in the sense that people must seek their own mates for their own purposes, for the traits that they desire. But yet, you must also come to the conclusion that we must implement technology. We must implement gene editing and genetic manipulation in order to reach that next stage in human evolution, to go from human to Superman, or from human to superhumanity, I should say. And this is very, very important because this is overlooked by so many people that call themselves third positionists. I've noticed a lot of people, and this is the truth, I have noticed a lot of people that believe themselves to be neo-Nazis and all this other stuff. They like to talk about IQ a lot. However, talking to these people, if you do talk to these people that yammer about how whites have this super high IQ and the Asians have this super high IQ, when you talk to these people for 5-10 minutes and they don't know simple facts about how geography works and other things, biology and this stuff, you start to understand that a lot of the people that are yammering about IQ probably do not have the highest IQs in the world. And I've noticed that with a lot of the trolls, the white supremacist trolls and things of that nature. You have a deficit. These people have a deficit in IQ, if anything. But what's funny is they rely on these psychometric tests. It's also important to understand, and I do want to eventually get into this, the importance of psychiatric abuse being used for political purposes. And when the government takes up the reins of eugenics, it gives an outlet for the psychiatric abuse to take a new, more ridiculous and frightening approach to public health. And we see this happening, especially under the Obama administration. We saw a lot of medicalized persecution, and we're going to see more of that in the United States, I believe, especially under the Helping Families with Mental Health Crisis Act, and the basically the giving of mental health clinics and mental health authority figures way too much authority over the lives of the people that they're claiming to help.